So I'm Gabe Gordon. I own Beachwood BBQ. My wife and I created it in 2006. I'm a former fine dining chef. Decided to do barbecue and beer.
My name is Julian Shrago, and I am the head brewer and co-owner of Beachwood BBQ and Brewing in downtown Long Beach.
I got into craft beer, I guess, technically when I was too young to be drinking it. I grew up in Northern California, actually in Santa Rosa, but pre-Russian River. Anderson Valley was probably the first craft brewery I was introduced to. My freshman year in college, Firestone Brewing Company was first year open, and I went to college in Santa Barbara, so we drank lots of Firestone.
I went to school at University of California, Santa Barbara, and my fall quarter freshman year, I met a couple guys who talked about brewing their own beer at home, and I thought it was something that was kind of fascinating. There was a lot of craft beer where I was going to school, and it was something that I kind of started drinking, you know, very, very soon after I got there. When I went home for the winter break, my freshman year, I just kind of mentioned home brewing to my parents, and they said, you know what, there's this store in Berkeley called the Oak Barrel, and I think it's still there. My parents took me there. This is back in 1996, and bought me my first homebrew kit as a holiday gift, and I brewed a wheat beer in the winter of 1996. And it was something that I did on and off for a number of years, and then when I bought my house back in 2004, I had a whole bunch of room to really dive into the hobby, and that's when I started buying more equipment and really getting into the thick of it. I had the honor of brewing at a couple brew pubs and production breweries, and it was that kind of was the beginning of my career as a professional brewer.
When we decided to open Beachwood 1 in 2006, we were going to do a fine dining restaurant. People weren't so into it in Seal Beach, so you kind of take the influences from food that I used to do and take the pretentiousness out of it, and it's pretty much Southern barbecue, and with barbecue goes great beer. The craft beer program was born there, and we did the full rotation because a little bit out of lack of space, we just didn't have the room to store backup kegs, so a keg would run out, we'd order something new. It was kind of exciting. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of beers out there, and who am I to say these beers are the best in the world, and that's why I'm putting them on my list. I don't think that I'm necessarily like the greatest palate in the world, so why should I say these are the only 10 beers that should be represented?
I met Gabe a few years ago when he first opened Beachwood in Seal Beach, and I brought one of my homebrewed IPAs one night, and I stuck around after closing, and Gabe, one of his chefs, and I split a small growler of this IPA, and we kind of connected that night, and that was when I found out that Gabe had also gone to University of California, Santa Barbara, graduated the same year that I did, his wife did as well. We're all born the same year, and we had a lot of mutual friends. A few years ago, I was getting ready to venture out on my own and open a production brewery of my own. And right about the time that I wanted to do that is when Gabe and Lena were thinking about expanding the Beachwood enterprise. And that's when we kind of came together and said, you know, let's just do this thing together, because it's the natural progression of Beachwood as such a beer-focused business is brew your own beer.
Julian's been great working with. I mean, it's been a bit of an adjustment at Seal Beach 1. We have no investors, no partners. It's just Lena and I. And here we have investors and we have partners, and you know, it's, I mean, it's definitely, it's a little bit different, but still great. I mean, it's really nice to have, like, as much as I love beer and I think I know about beer, I'm not a brewer. I've brewed before. It's really fun, but for me, I like there to be a bit of a mystery. It's nice that I can drink a beer and still be absolutely amazed at how it was created. Like with food, I'm a little bit jaded. Like I can eat food and I go, oh, I know how somebody did that. The beer, like, yeah, I kind of know, but I don't really know. And it's really great having somebody who knows and who can create that, and the pressure is not on me to produce that. Julian's a fabulously talented guy, and we're just, you know, we're super glad to have partnered up with him.
I am sitting on our 10-barrel brew house right now, and so we have the ability to produce 10 barrels, 310 gallons, or 20 kegs of beer at a time per batch. And behind me, we have our fermenter fleet, and we have 4 10-barrel fermenters for single batches, and we have 2 20-barrel fermenters for double batches. So our total fermentation space at any one time is 80 barrels. We plan to offer about 6 to 8 full-time beers year-round, depending on how the demand works out. And then we want to do 4 to 6 seasonals and rotational beers. Anytime I feel like doing something new, I just do it. There are no limitations at this place, and that's one of the things that I love about this position is total creative freedom.
This was a ground-up build, so we had 4 walls, a ceiling, and a floor. And we're building in a big city, and so those are the trials and tribulations that you have. And we have a big landlord, like a institutional landlord, and it's not mom and pop Seal Beach. It's a big project, and that's a lot of stainless steel in there.
I'm absolutely ecstatic about being able to brew here. I have my own space, and I've got a lot of space to be creative. And the best thing about this is that I get to share my beer with as many people are willing to walk through that door. And the more people, the better. And the quicker we sell beer, the more I get to brew. And that's incredibly rewarding.
Cheers, you guys.
Cheers. I needed beer.